Welcome to the Purity Pulse podcast, your go-to podcast for the natural health industry and everything Purity Life. I'm Julie Drapeau.
And I'm Erin Macklin.
And today will be our farewell episode as we bring this chapter to a close.
The grand finale.
Absolutely.
It'll be a good one. We've got a good plan for this one. I think it'll be fun. How are you feeling, though? It's kind of a big deal.
Mixed feelings.
Yeah.
And I would say that I always believe that when something, finished, there's a reason, and we already have lots of other plans. But it's hard because we've had such a great time.
Yes.
Took us a long time to get to say, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
And then, connecting you and I, on that monthly basis and meeting people, but also the time we spend together.
I know.
Having so much fun.
I know.
Bringing information to retailers. And also, you don't see people in the back here.
Yeah. We got a whole crew.
Yeah, the whole crew. And it's kind of that little family that we kind of created and that sort of fun. And we're like, hey, we don't want to let go of that.
Yeah.
So, that's where I'm kind of sitting. It's kind of that excitement for something new. But at the same time, it's like, this was kind of cool.
Endings are hard. I think finales are hard of what you're losing. But yeah, you're right. It's also the beginning of what's coming next, right?
Yeah. What about you? What's your feeling?
Yeah, similar, I think. It's hard to think about stopping something that I know we have so much fun doing, and that we get to meet all sorts of new people. And like you said, we've got such a great group here that we get the opportunity to work with so closely, and that we won't have that same opportunity. So that part I think is hard and disappointing and a bit sad.
Yes.
But yeah, like you said, everything changes. It's everything is
evolution,
ending, new beginnings. Yeah, so it's what comes next.
Absolutely. And don't worry, we're not replacing ourselves with AI power that will do the podcast for us. That's nothing about that. And it's not. I would say it's not a feeling. Sometimes when there's stops of something, as you said, it's not about failing. Like it's not that feeling, because that's not the case.
Yeah.
We're just wanting
we've put
to
together. What, close to 60 episodes, more than 60 episodes? I mean, that's success.
That's huge. Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to say more in the angle that sometimes when you have to stop something, it's because of it didn't, work the way you wanted to. But it's really not that in this situation. It's really because we're moving on to doing something else. But yeah, totally that mixed feelings. But we'll have definitely a great episode to share, the highlights and all of that. So we're excited about that part. So
yeah. All right, so we've got a bunch of highlights because we've had some amazing guests and a lot of amazing times. Absolutely. And now we get to look back through some of the best moments.
Intrigued. Let's start.
When I went to university, I actually started in computer science. So I did a year's worth of computer science. And in my mind, my goal, and I still kind of think about this to this day, really was, I want to be able to come into small businesses and just really help show them technology and platforms and improve processes and how can they use that to create efficiencies and really move ahead. Because I think even already at that age, I saw so much. And I worked as a younger person, I worked in a floral distribution company, small business, and immediately was able to kind of be like, hey, do you guys even know that these programs exist and this is what they could do and this is how you could step forward? And they loved it. And that was just so building for me that was what I saw my career being like. I couldn't really nail it down to exactly how to get there. Which I think is partly how I've come into this other really great profession for myself. Yeah. But always still been very interested in that idea.
We can say it's achieved?
I was going to say. And then Julie was like, so let's pivot with your job.
Yeah, I think it's after the change, but it sounds almost like before.
Yeah,
that there was kind of a precursor of, what do you really like and you fancy about, and then let's make it happen, basically, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's good. It's like a full description of your job.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's a big win. That was a good one.
We landed well.
Okay. Ready for next?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
if you weren't in this profession, if you were going to be in a different profession, what would it be?
Just one? I told you I like to do many things.
That is such a Julie answer. Yes, Julie. Just the top one. I'm sure there are 10, maybe 20.
Can I negotiate like 2?
Fine. Okay. You can have 2.
Believe it or not, I wanted to be a lawyer.
Really?
Because I have a passion for arguing.
I was going to say negotiation, maybe. Yeah.
Negotiation and arguing, but not always in a bad way, but it's just so natural in me that when somebody says something and like, what about that? Blah, blah, blah. And I love convincing. So I was watching all these shows, and you know when, what's his name? Jack Nicholson say, "You can't handle the truth." I always saw myself.
Was that your inspiration?
No, I was looking at Tom Cruise and I was like, I can be that. I'm going to get the truth out of you for sure.
We had fun right from the beginning, eh? Like that's the first episode and we had so much fun.
And it's funny because I actually had for work to jump on the call with there was lately a lawyer, and we were discussing with the government on certain things, and then I was feeling so right, like so good. and then it's funny because I remembered for some reason this episode, and I was like, yeah, absolutely.
This is my sweet spot.
Yeah, if one day I retire from what I'm doing, I'm going back to school. We'll finish that schooling and let it done.
I love how you just you just own it. Like this whole idea. Like there's not too many people that would sit there and be like, I'm just so passionate about arguing and convincing people. Just like, that's me.
I know you can survey people around me that would say that, yeah, this is not so great, Julie, being so argumentative, but it's just like, it's just a natural thing. So
well, you found the right ways to use it.
That's a good one.
It's very easy to use.
We're going to do
even
this?
Even people who have a tendency to have allergy to some type
like
of
sensitivities
rubber
and whatnot.
Sensitivities is not an issue.
This is going to be hard to do without a mirror, but we're going to try and put them on.
We'll look at each other.
Maybe you should put it on me.
Okay, well.
You can put here.
Yes, let me try that for you. So I am putting right now.
Sticky, small silicone teardrop-looking eye things. Okay, here we go.
So you look up, and then you just apply and gently tap around your eye area. Of course, ideally when you use it, your face is clean because the natural oil of your skin will prevent the pad to really stick to your skin. That's what we are currently experiencing. It's sort of sticking to Erin's face.
It's hard to do on the fly.
Yes, exactly. But what you do is you even a face wipe can work.
Yes.
So you remove all the makeup.
Yeah, you want to do it on clean skin, obviously.
So I will give the pleasure to Erin to stick my forehead.
Yes.
And go for it.
Ready?
Yes. Do I look like an avatar?
You look like Cleopatra.
Oh. That must be the dress. I like your full enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I think what happened there was I saw this happening. I'm like, you're the one that said you were going to do this, but I'm the one that ends up in my face. And I didn't think you were going to do it in the end, which is probably why I was so excited when we were like, yes, we're sticking on your forehead.
That's one thing that is very funny. I think that we had lots of fun together is that we were so, that spontaneity.
Yeah.
Of course, when you do a podcast, you have to be prepared with, question, and Amber had lots of research to do to give us some meat around.
There was always
a
plan.
Yeah, there's always a plan, but then we were getting out of the plan very quickly. Yeah. But always having fun in our regular conversation and creating some fun little
Cleopatra.
Little clip like that. So that was good. You work in retail as well. That always been one of my favorite time of the year. And I know I'm going to annoy a lot of people what I'm going to say, but the Christmas and holiday music couldn't start early enough.
That's funny because I'm the same way. And I know it drives people crazy, but yeah, I'm all for it. Those radio stations that start playing it immediately after Remembrance Day, I'm in.
Oh yeah, I'm in.
I'm almost embarrassed to say it because I know most people are very aggravated by that, but I'm in. I like it.
So for the audience, please make note that Erin and I have something in common.
Yes. I literally had this conversation this morning because I was humming Christmas tunes because they've been on in my car and my house and and honestly, a lot of times in my office as well for weeks.
Yep.
And I can get behind it. I love it.
I know, I'm same. But what is funny here is it's true too how we discover how we knew we were different in our way of thinking. So I think we were so excited to finally a little point that we had in common, and we just like drove with it, like we stuck to it.
Yeah, exactly. Our love of Christmas and winter.
So today we're very excited, Erin. We have Dan with us, and Dan is the new owner of our beloved BioSteel.
Yes.
So Dan, welcome to our podcast, and thank you for making time in your very crazy busy schedule.
I find it so interesting that the question was, have you always had this entrepreneurial spirit? And the answer that you gave was no, that's not the answer I was expecting at all. But I mean, clearly you've just got this spirit that won't quit. Like your whole story is about, and then I ran into this, so I just did this.
I think it's really interesting when you don't have a background. It's really easy to drive yourself to succeed when you don't have a backup plan. Right. I think it's a lot easier, right? You know, I have a lot of friends that they did graduate school, and for as long as I can remember, they've always wanted to get into real estate and they've always wanted to start their own business, and they still haven't yet, but they haven't yet because they have a cushy 9-to-5, right?
Yeah.
So
they haven't had the same necessity.
That 100%. It was kind of a sink or swim thing for me, right? I don't come from, you know, I don't come from any kind of money, and nobody was going to end up bailing me out. And, you know, my parents were basically like, hey, listen, like, you're not on your own, but
go do it.
Figure it out. Yeah. It's on you. It isn't on us, right? So it's easy when it's easier to force yourself to succeed when you don't have that backup plan.
Yeah, and it hit very differently, I would say, because you know, one important brand for us, and to really see that this was our first kind of conversation with him that way. And then where we are today with the brand, right? So it's good, you know, the podcast always give us the chance like that with those clips to see, you know, how far we can. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, the success that the brand and that Dan Crosby has been able, you know, through working with us and partners to make it work. Yeah. And so, I'm my voice is a bit down right now just because it's great to see that. Yeah. That was a very good one and very red. That podcast was very red. Exactly. It was good.
We were all themed.
Yes. You're giving us the opportunity to share that big news of, you know, what's coming, the change, big announcement. Big announcement. Yep. And we're very thankful that you're doing it with us. So we'll going to give you the floor to tell us.
Yeah, well, I think the partnership over the last 14 plus years kind of justified the announcement with you guys. When we started talking about doing this podcast, I said, "Oh, hold on, I might have an idea as to, you know, some extra content for it." So we've been working on a rebrand for the last maybe 6 months. The day that this airs will be the day that the announcement goes out in the industry as well. So M2 is rebranding to Optimize Brands.
Ooh. Optimize Brands.
Yeah, and we kicked around a lot of different names, and it stuck with Optimize because I kept on talking about optimizing the company and optimizing the way we're doing things and optimizing this spreadsheet.
It better.
And then I said, hold on, that works as a name. And not only does it work as a name, it also works, and you can appreciate this, in French. And it means the same thing.
Yes.
And so, you know, being based in Montreal, we are a national brokerage. Obviously, I'm bilingual, you know, but it was important for me this round to, you know, M2 Brand Management Inc. is very English. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted a name that we could, you know, kind of use in English and French. So
proud of you. That's pretty cool that we got some, you know, special announcement like that.
That was a big one.
That was a big one. And, Michelle and the new Optimized brand, they're doing so well. Yeah. So I think that was a great rebranding, but that's great that, you know, he chose us.
Well, and I mean, I feel like he's a good friend of both of ours too. Yeah. So to be able to be a part of that announcement of such a significant change in the business in that company was it's pretty special.
Yeah, that's one of the little sparkle of our podcast.
Yeah.
By the grace of so many good people, you know, I was able to find some success, but I would literally, I mean, my first sales meeting was with a drug chain called Big V. And I
Big V.
I
Big
went
V.
in.
Oh,
do you remember those
man.
guys?
That takes me back.
Not me. Not because of age, but Quebecer. I didn't. Yeah.
I went into Big V,
Big V.
with a hard shell brown briefcase and an Alive magazine inside and nothing else. And I literally laid the Alive magazine out in front of the buyer, and only because I didn't know better.
Right.
And we just went page by page, and I said, well, do you like this product? And she said, well, that looks pretty good. So I dog ear that page and go to the next thing. Oh, no, I don't like that. And, oh, that looks pretty good. And I dog ear that. And then I go back to my apartment and start working the phones and said, hey, I've got a customer. I'd like to distribute your product. So I started in the business as a distributor.
Oh, wow.
And that quickly got away from me because I had no money.
Right.
So I was literally buying the proverbial, buying and selling out of my car. That's what I was doing.
Oh, my
I was
goodness.
picking up products. And
So you went in there, you didn't even know what products you were pitching. You were just pitching whatever they wanted to buy.
whatever they wanted. Then my job was to get those brands to sell to me.
That's amazing.
And I did that. And then I remember I got on the radar at Shoppers Drug Mart selling a product, traditional medicinals, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yes, absolutely.
And I've been buying about $1,000 to $1,500 a week of traditional medicinals and driving around and selling it.
Who's that guy?
And and then Shopper said, hey, we want to list your product. And I said, okay, great. And they gave me an $80,000 purchase order. So
I got some work I got to do back here.
So I sent my corresponding purchase order to traditional medicinals, and the phone quickly rang, and they're like, hey, this is a little above your credit limit.
Yeah.
They said, I got an idea. Why don't you be a broker? Why don't you, we'll sell to Shoppers Drug Mart and we'll pay you a commission. And that's how it kind of all started.
Really?
So, yeah.
I love that. Hey, this is a little above your credit limit.
I know. It was a great opportunity for us, again, during these podcasts to learn more. We see these people in the industry every shows, every event, and then you talk, at a certain level.
Yeah.
But it was great. Like with Patrick, we went really deeper in explaining
the
this,
history.
like how it started.
Yeah.
It was.
And he's such a good storyteller.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
to hear that, it's like such entry level, just really. Just the way he works at that and the way he worked at that from nothing and really got where he is just so cool.
And one thing, learning for both of us, and I can hear it more in this podcast where I wasn't hearing that before, is the yes. All the little words that, we've been nicely told along the way, just like, you don't need to always make noise when somebody is talking. So we started to do more of the nodding and just
Thanks for having me.
So it's an exciting year. CHFA celebrating 60 years this year.
It is. Yeah, I feel like every year has been exciting since I joined 3.5 years ago. But any anniversary is an exciting time to celebrate. So 60 years. It's hard to believe.
That's a long time.
It is. And as the team has been reminding me often, it is the diamond anniversary. So our team is probably about 90% women. And they've been angling for that diamond aspect to the anniversary. So we'll see what happens. But it's quite the accomplishment for the association.
Amazing.
Yeah, there is a lot of change through the years, obviously. And since you took on the role as well, you've been through the beginning with COVID hitting and having to transition and all that. And so give a little bit of to the audience, a little bit of the background of CHFA and its purpose, because I feel, and I've been in some committee and working with you, and I just feel that we need to hear the message clearly, because there's still people that are not yet into CHFA as a member, and it's so important. We'll talk about it throughout because the value behind it. But I wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, in 60 years, it's steeped in a lot of history. And I think any organization that's been around for that long, you always got a lot of different iterations and changes that you go through. And I think the CHFA is no different. I mean, when it was initiated, it was really regional. It was really more sort of the vitamin shops, the small independent retailers, and a lot of the small independent manufacturers. But it was the culmination of that passion and that sort of belief in what this industry provides that I think pulled that community together and took it from sort of regional east-west pockets into this real national representation that it is today. And as I said, that evolution never really stops. I think even from 3.5 years ago. But if you go through the 6 60 years, it's not just a natural health product association anymore. It really represents an entire sector. And one of the things I'm proud of, I often claim is one of our more challenging aspects, but one of the biggest benefits. We really represent the whole sort of sector and not just a stakeholder within it. So it's quite unique that we've got, suppliers, brokers, distributors, retailers, supporting businesses, auxiliary to what we do on a day-to-day basis. So packaging companies, legal firms. It really is a snapshot of the entire industry. I think that's where a lot of the strength comes from. Is that it's the whole community, and it's that whole community sort of sharing that mandate that if more Canadians can get access to what we do, they'll live happier, healthier lives.
That resonates with what we do at Purity Life. Right? And it's funny listening to Erin. It reminds me too that the podcast was not, just about Purity, the product we sell, but also the industry and bringing that news to everybody to understand, what the industry is about as well too. So that's pretty cool not to have that. We didn't have like a rigid boundaries to say this is exactly what you're just going to talk and just that. We were free in creating what we wanted of it, basically, which was very cool.
It was nice that it was so fluid, and we can have somebody like Erin Skelton who has just so much background and so strong at kind of bringing people together for almost like the greater good, right? And that it's fun to be a part of that.
Absolutely. And one funny comment, I see my Wonder Woman cup, and then it reminded me that before every episode, before we got the Purity Life mug, I was always thinking, okay, what mug should I bring? And I need 4 different ones because we have 4 different episodes, and it needs to match the clothes I'm wearing. And it was quite a bit of preparation in the background that nobody knew about it.
Geez, there was a bunch of things that really kind of stood out to me. One of the big things as well in our industry, I think, and leading up to that point, was there was just more of a message of take this and everything will be better. And that's really where I looked into the QR codes, because I wanted to provide the support for the customer and also for the retailer as well. I mean, retailers are dealing with right now an ongoing staff change, right? They have staff, and it's hard to train everybody all the time. So with QR codes, if anybody hasn't scanned them, when you scan them on the front of the label, there's a video that explains the product in like 60 seconds. So you have a new staff member and they need to learn about the product fast. It's going to help you out by getting that staff member trained quickly, and they can scan each product, learn about kind of what the gist of it is. But also too, that supports the consumers. They have a video, they have 2 meal plans. They're beautifully done. We change them every year with grocery lists and pictures. And so much education and time has gone into these. There's daily affirmations, because the thoughts you think is an important part of health and wellness. We have workouts in there. So really supporting the customer. I believe we are the only one technically doing this on the market. And that's what got the Contrarian's Den.
We had lots of strong women on this podcast too. And
she's such a great example of, I mean, you saw the shirts, right? Empowered women, empower women.
Absolutely. Just every year she has her tagline, or at CHFA too. I'm wondering, where is that T-shirt? Because it's a cool one.
Oh, I know.
I'm like, where did I put it? I need to find it back.
I had this realization that as a natural consumer myself, I had menstruated over 300 times in my life by that point. And I resonated more with a shoe brand or my, water bottle company than I did with a period care brand. And I'm like, why? This is such an intimate experience that we have every single month, potentially. And yet I still feel like there's no brand out there that I really connect to. And I asked friends and they kind of all felt the same way. And so from a brand, marketing, just overall cultural perspective as a natural consumer, I just felt like there was a gap in the market. So with Jayesh's experience and my experience, I feel like we could do something really impactful here together if we put our heads together, and that's sort of how we move things forward. We donated 50 pads for every 1 pad we sold that year because the need was so great. Bookkeeper was freaking out because they're like, how is this sustainable? But for us, it was more like we knew eventually it would catch up. We knew that the need was super great. We knew that our partnerships and our relationships were really important for our foundational growth. And so for us, it was an investment to show that we're committed. We are a small brand, but we're committed to moving this forward. And because of that, we've built a lot of trust with our community.
Where did you find such confidence that you would be able to do that 50 to 1 as a startup brand?
I think as a founder, you kind of have this very unrealistic optimism. You have to. I think that's what keeps you sane, is this idea that like one more day, one more week, one more month, and we're moving in that direction. So I think you just continuously lean into that. And so we just really trusted our gut with it. And we did see like, signal versus noise. We saw a lot of signal when it came to the donations we were making and the partnerships we were building. And so that signal was really important messaging for us to be able to continue to grow and use that model in the foundational elements of how we grow.
Yeah, that differentiate yourself even from other natural brand out there, being very activist in supporting. I'm blown away by the numbers you said. Honestly, I didn't know. And it's shocking, which is something that, we go through our lives many times. And earlier, Erin and I were talking about the stigma before, when we're younger, talking about, menstrual period. I was like, don't talk too much about it. And you had to go in store to buy them, and you were like really shy, or you had to talk yourself through, okay, I'm going in to buy this. But I think that brands like yours, the why behind the brand is to support those who can't afford it, but also to make periods normal out there. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I mean, funny story, we were going to name the brand Unapologetic because that was sort of the sentiment that we had. Like, we want to be unapologetic about our menstrual cycles. I want my daughters to be unapologetic. And because when you're unapologetic about it, then you can ask for help when you need it. You can talk about it when you want to. You can educate yourself without this layer of like shame and stigma that's with it. I mean, Unapologetic is too long for a brand name, but that's the sort of the ethos and the sentiment with Joni, is that we want to build a brand that allows you to be unapologetic.
Linda Biggs is such a strong woman, and like the kind of entrepreneur that I would aspire to be. She stays so true to her values, even in the riskiest moments of her company, was just like, nope, we're just doing it. But also had the smarts and the intuitiveness to be able to make it happen kind of against the odds of staying true to her values and the costs that created, but still being able to just come out there unapologetically, be who she is, make this company that's again greater good, and just a real inspiration. I think she's just such a cool woman.
Yeah, I can see her in awe. Yeah, we had good people coming like that made us take a step back and really, again, discovering a little bit more of them, because Joni and Linda are people we see, quite often. And after this episode, actually, after the CHFA2, she invited me and a couple of other people to go to the Other Ship.
That's right.
Where we sat together and again talk about women's health and how to help women. So it creates extra connection like that. And she's absolutely a gem in our industry for, women's and leadership. I think it's a great example. I agree with you. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Brings a little spark.
What about the rest of your family? Because you've got kids too, right?
We do. We've got 3 kids. And absolutely, they want nothing to do with the business.
Really?
But what's very interesting is they've grown up with, the weird, like they're the kids that go to school with the weird lunches, right?
Yeah.
Because they've got all of this stuff. And then both of my kids, which I'm very proud of, in health class, they had the person from, the dairy board come in, give them speeches, and they started talking about alternative milk, and they both got kicked out of their class.
That worked out well.
So my children have grown up in the industry. My daughter actually worked at Purity Life for a bit in the warehouse while she was saving up to go off to university. So as much as they don't want to necessarily be part of the brokerage, they live the lifestyle.
Yeah.
They know and understand everything, like the Better For You movement. My daughter with, the habit products that she's putting on her face. So they know to read labels, they understand it. And in that, they're out there educating their friends. So it's very, very interesting. And what they're willing to try is far more than what I think my generation was.
Right.
So their ability just to grasp new concepts or understand what these new products are trying to deliver for them, and that they want more than just a price proposition. They want a value prop.
I got to get my boys in a room with the LeBeau boys, because I feel like
Do you need a
there's
little,
a big age difference, but there would be so much of a connection of like, my mom.
Another great, strong woman, lots of energy, and we could feel her presence. What it reminded me, though, is that most people that came live here were a little nervous at the beginning. And we were always saying, oh, yeah, don't worry. You just sit here and you just talk with us. And I clearly remember one of our guests that I said, oh, don't worry. We just one take. I'll name Margot.
Freaked them out.
She got like frightened, her face. And then I realized that, I thought I would be comforting, but I totally did the opposite. And it was quite funny. But
and then you proceeded to do that to a few other guests.
To a few other, because I'm being very transparent. And we never had to cut that much.
No.
Like we had a couple of things that, we've dropped or, we baffled a little bit. But generally speaking, it was
especially with guests. I feel like that was exactly it. Like we would kind of tell our guests, hey, if you flub up or if we do, then we'll do another take, no problem. But honestly, I can't really remember barely any times where we did a second take of our actual guest conversation. They're almost all straight through.
And the other thing too that I really appreciated to work with you that really worked like a perfect puzzle is, as I mentioned earlier, we had like questions. But even if we were not following, we could follow each other on like when it's time, like the flow of when it's time for you to talk because I don't know what to say or I don't like the segue and the connection was very good.
Yes.
So that made it a lot easier.
Yeah. We're a good match for that. Absolutely.
Since we're here today for the International Women's Day, do you recall a moment where women has impacted you in work or around you that significantly that really touched you?
I do.
Yeah.
It was a couple years ago, and we were doing a departmental shift. We were trying to make sense of departments. Do you remember that?
Oh, I do.
And you all know Natalie. Natalie and I worked together, and she was going to be promoted to my manager. And I remember the two of us, we were just having a conversation one day, and she looked over at me and she's like, I can't do this without you. And we all know that she could have done it without me. But I remember that moment and thinking, wow, you're supporting me, I'm going to always support you right back. And I just felt like so heart-warmed. It wasn't this power shift, it was more of just a transition. Yeah. And it was an impactful moment in my life. And we're still working together. She's still my manager.
And you still support each other.
And we still support each other.
Yeah.
So I felt really supported at that moment. That stood out for me.
For me, it was you, Julie.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
I am one of those people that I don't like the word suffer, I don't like the word struggle, but I deal with imposter syndrome. So I'm always doubting myself, even though I know, like at the bottom of my heart, that I can do it. There's been several times where I've been like, I don't know, no, that's not for me. No, I'm not going to take that on. I'm not going to apply for that. And Julie would always give me a gentle nudge to remind myself to have the confidence that I am completely capable, and so always saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. Yeah. So Julie's definitely been that for me quite a few times.
I want to say, yes, support and purity for the women, it's daily, it's hourly. There's so many things going on at all the times. And if I have to say, hey, I can't do this, I can't get this right, how do I do it? Someone else is like, okay, let me help you. So we are awesome. We always like run over to each other's desks and be like, oh my God, what do we do? So.
I love these women. I love this group. I love these people. They're just...
definitely. And we support everybody at the company, but definitely there's a support, a hard, strong supporting.
And a camaraderie, really.
Absolutely. That we're there to help. And we're really supporting for the growth. And hearing it again, it just gives me chills again. Yeah. Because it's like, that's why I do what I do. Yeah. That's why we like to show up, because we feel like we're getting into a company every day that, you don't feel you're 100% every day, but you know that there's other people that you can go at their desk and say, hey, let's have a little talk here. I need a little
daily
support.
Or even, as Alana says, hourly.
Hourly, exactly. Anytime, little text here and there. There's always somebody. You never feel on your own, and you don't feel that it's like a competition. It's really helping to elevate people. And thank you for that clip. It was awesome.
And it's baby steps, right? You don't go in and you make the monumental change right away.
Yeah.
You make small little things, little tweaks and processes, things that they're saying, hey, I for years and years, I've had this problem and no one's listened or no one's heard or no one's seen it. I don't know how to share this idea.
Yeah.
Start with those little things.
And then you build that trust, right? Because people are seeing that change, even if it's something small. And exactly like you said, it might be somebody who said, I've been saying this for so long. I just want this little change so I don't have to do it again and again and again. Yeah. And now you've got a win, a quick win for them, right?
Yeah. What I will say in my career over the years, what I see more and more are people embracing change more. And maybe that's like hand in hand with technology evolving.
Yeah.
So people have to be. But I think, change is scary, and it's hard in all facets of our lives. But I'm seeing more and more that people are open to discussion, and that to me is really cool.
Everybody wants a Phil. I feel it after this episode because Phil is not often, in front of, the camera or in front of the line, but he does so much at Purity with all the, not innovation, but improvement project. And he's connected and make everybody, work together better. And I think it was great that we had the chance to have him twice.
That's right.
Right? Twice.
Yeah.
To show who he is, who we work with, to the chance we have, right?
Only a personality like Phil can really make that kind of change and get people to acknowledge and own and love that kind of change. Like he can get the best out of people, and there's just an aura about him, I think, that draws people to him. Yeah.
Yeah. We wish you all a Phil in your company.
Yes. For your own continuous improvement.
Yes. Those clips were amazing. I hear we have the bloopers. Oh God. Let's start them. We'll see. Exciting moment.
This is an exciting moment.
Yeah. Why are we doing this, Erin?
I don't know, but it says on my papers.
Yeah, think about mon
treuil. Mon treuil. Treuil? Treuil. 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 But what happens again? Treuil.
Treuil. I was afraid. I saw your finger. I was like, no, don't do it.
And cutting.
I'm sorry. Gosh, I'm just going to speak so fast. You have no idea. I know.
We better get this done.
I don't know what speed I'm going to speak, but let's...
Episode 20, outro.
Yeah, Sergio has always been very patient with us. Those laugh are real. I love those podcasts because I get to laugh a lot.
Yeah.
I guess I was supposed to speak.
We got to giggle time earlier.
My prediction is 3 takes.
Oh, it's the 3 o'clock time.
Oh God.
It's when we fall
I'm
apart.
a competitive person. I'm on it. Let's do it. And Serge waiting for us again.
Episode 19, outro.
I'll speak over.
Take 1.
If you meant take 1.
This is after I just said we don't do that many takes.
Nice. Yeah. Nice, Serge. We'll remember that.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
And join us next week because we're going to have Kim Lebeau. She's the vice... Here's her first. I was to say VP. I can't say that. I had that struggle in my head.
I'm shocked.
Tons of energy, so you'll definitely enjoy that.
I'm smirking the whole time.
I know.
Okay. And 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to another Purity Pulse
It's because we're laughing too much. It's okay.
All right. Let's take it from the top.
Yeah.
So 12 interview.
That was the best by far.
For the blooper reel.
Let's try that one more time.
Allison is like, What are they doing?
And then we've got to get ourselves together so we can just keep going.
Your face is like beach red. I've never seen you with that red.
That's why.
It looks like you're gonna explode. The clapper wants to eat you. There you go.
I know I need to pull myself together quickly because we need to keep moving, but it's so hard. It's like when you laugh in church, right? You really know you shouldn't, so you gotta like.
Yeah, and I'm not helping. I keep laughing.
All right.
Look at us trying to.
Did we get it together?
New to Purity Life.
I was trying.
Just walk it a little bit.
That's a good one. I gotta wipe my eyes. Hang on.
We could have had an injury.
Ready?
Sorry for my fingers. I'm playing music during the podcast. Christmas music too?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, me too. I was like, oh my God,
on the Christmas.
I love how you said it and then you looked at this.
We were excited to have a point in common.
And cutting intro.
Oh my God, what we said?
Said you were just so ready to eat bears.
I love your comments.
Okay, episode 19, and this is outro.
Is it or is it intro? It's hard to tell.
I didn't have time to erase it. So
Erin is the detail-oriented person.
So it's rolling already.
So
I just really
much
wanted to call you on.
I'll let it slide.
We should have had whipped cream to put our bear in it, so they look like they're on a cloud.
You like my comments?
We had so much fun with people across us.
And 3, 2, 1.
Oh, it was, I mean, all the comments, and as I'm saying this, we saw Serge a couple of times. We don't get to see Agap that works with Serge in front.
Yeah.
And Amber, so many times, like, we're having a conversation here, and then I can see from my corner your hair. And then I'm like, okay, this side.
Yeah.
No. Amber kept going. I was like, okay, that's the other side. But then I need to keep focus on you and what you're saying.
Yeah. Also, don't forget whatever I'm saying and be ready to ask a question at any moment.
Exactly. Yeah. Just overall, lots of fun, lots of laughs, and lots of clothes changing here.
Yes. Lots and lots of clothes changing.
Yeah. Before an average, of 4 episodes every time we came. So we had to change between back and forth. And the struggle was real.
Yeah.
Well, it was fun. That was awesome.
Oh, amazing. Thanks, Julie.
Thank you.
It was a good time.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Okay, well, that was a lot of fun.
That was. It's funny how we forget some pieces, and that was great too.
We did a lot.
I know. That was very good.
So what's next?
Lots planned for 2025. I mean, we're going to talk about a little bit about the future events that we're going to have. We've been doing in the previous year before the podcast, but that took a lot of, preparation and work. So we're going to do some speed dating next year in 2025 and CHFA and the talks that we typically do. So don't worry, we'll be back.
Yep.
In another way.
Yes. Absolutely. And make sure that you stay connected. We're still on social, and we've got the Purity Pulse newsletter that goes out every month, and we've got lots of Insta stuff's on Customer Link. We're still going to be all over, so you can certainly find us.
Absolutely. So we want to take a moment to thank all of our listeners and the industry, everybody that supported us. Has been a fantastic journey. Want to take a moment to absolutely thank our production team at Pick Video Studio with Serge and Agap that you don't see in the back there. But thank you so much, guys. Without you, the smooth and well-prepared, presented message wouldn't have been there. And also...
Yeah, it's certainly been a whole team that's pulled it together. We just get to be the faces on this end, but also... Yes. Amber, who's really pulled everything together for us every time and scheduled us and kept us on track and fed us and kept us happy and everything you can imagine, and contacted all our guests, and really the show.
Get us
the
prepared.
Show, yeah, like the show is what it is because of what you've done. So
yes,
thank you, Amber.
Thank you very much.
Very
guys.
integral part as well.
Thank you.
Episode 10 outro. Cut it.
Is that it? Is that how we're ending it?